So now you know why that's my favorite. It's a beautiful arrangement. So the list is still up here, although I have had a lot of chance to kind of tabulate all of your favorite songs. I will not have time next week to play all your favorite songs. So James Bond's going to be tonight, if that's okay with you. All right, so here we go. This is probably number 3 or 4 on the all-time 2017 summer favorite list, James Bond. Oh, I need to mention, let's see, Cherie, you have an English horn solo. So those of you who don't know what an English horn is, it's just an oboe on steroids. And I think there's a couple of other solos. There's a trumpet solo in there. Yeah. So listen for those, they're really pretty. So I'm not doing very much talking tonight because I lost my script. But I did write it out, so I think I remember what I was going to say. Every once in a while, we have to play something that's actually concert band literature. I don't know if you remembered Water Dance from earlier in the season. It paints a picture of a very calm lake, first thing in the morning when the sun's just coming up. You're sitting out there with your cup of coffee, nobody's bothering you. It's very quiet and peaceful. Listen to the brass as they kind of wake us up a little bit. And then the dance part comes. And then you can get to hear our woodwinds show off a little bit. So, Water Dance by Carl Stroman. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Susan Anderson, who's going to tell you a little personal story about herself and Benny Goodman. So I started playing the clarinet in junior high. Okay, I started playing the clarinet in junior high because I really liked Benny Goodman when I was in junior high. And I liked Benny Goodman so much when I started playing in high school that my high school friends got me this shirt. It was at the very beginning of the print your own t-shirt thing, and they were actually iron-on letters. And Benny Goodman, and it still fits, yes thank you. Benny Goodman was still actively concertizing at that time, and I used to go see him whenever he came to my area, which was Washington, D.C. I saw him at Kennedy Center, I saw him at Wolf Trap, and I would go backstage and get his autograph wearing my shirt. And inevitably people would take pictures because there were a lot of 15-year-old girls who were really big Benny Goodman fans in the 30s and 40s, but not so much in the 70s. So Benny Goodman got to recognize me, and at one point he had one of his musicians in the band take a picture of us, me in my, me, 16-year-old me in my Benny Goodman shirt and Benny Goodman. So years pass. I stayed with my clarinet playing, although not as a profession. I moved into orchestra management, and by then I had a job working on the staff of the New York Philharmonic. This was about 10 years later. And there was a rehearsal one day. I was up at my office at the top of Lincoln Center, and we had an audio monitor system so you could hear what was going on stage. It wasn't the orchestra rehearsing, it was a big band that really wasn't very good. But they had a really good clarinetist, and they were playing a lot of Benny Goodman tunes. And upstairs in the office, we were trying to figure out, like, who is this? What is this? And so finally I went down, and I opened the door to backstage, and it was filled with West Point cadets. It was the West Point, it was a benefit concert for the West Point music programs. And it was the student, I guess, jazz band with Benny Goodman. And I thought, wow, look, Benny Goodman in my own building. So I tried to stand in a place where I was out of the way, and the only place I could stand during this rehearsal that was just filled with West Point cadets was actually on the stage. So I sidled onto the side of the stage, and the rehearsal ended, and of all the people who were on the stage, Benny Goodman decided that I was in charge. So he came to me and said, would you take me to my dressing room? And I said, sure. I had the keys, I worked there. I took him up, I got him a cup of coffee. And then he started to ask me questions about what time do I need to be back? Am I on the first half or the second half? And I had to confess that I had nothing whatsoever to do with the concert that he was playing. I said, I work upstairs and I saw you were here. And he thought that was great. And he said, well, take a seat. I've got 2 hours to kill. So I sat with him in his dressing room for 2 hours and we chatted. And at the end of it, I kind of worked it myself up to say, okay, do you happen to remember this kid in the I Like Benny Goodman t-shirt? From Wolf Trap, 10 years ago. And he got this really funny look on his face, and he said, yeah, I have a picture of us on my piano at home. That's where that picture ended up. So I still like Benny Goodman, and I hope you do too, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it, Will. And so as we play the next tune, which is Benny Goodman, Susan's going to channel her inner Benny Goodman. If you haven't gotten your balloons yet, it's next. Go get your balloons. While you guys are marching, we will be playing Valley Forge and King Cotton, and this is the moment. Here we go.
Yes, once again. I'm Mike Caldwell. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Ojai West, who sponsors the Ojai Band, and we're set up selling popcorn and lemonade and the balloons, obviously, which there's a lot of them out in the audience. Tonight, in leading the parade, the Rotary Club is honoring our Sheriff's Department. And the two deputy sheriffs that are with us is Matt Keeter and Adrian Perez. So all right. So let's get our parade, all our kids lined up along here.
Big kids.
Big kids, yes, we even welcome big kids.
Bob and I are board members on the Ojai Education Foundation, and I wanted to take the opportunity tonight to introduce to you our education hero for 2017, Mr. Bill Wagner. Come on down, Bill.
That's who's missing, the guy with the kazoo.
Now, I could tell you, I could read 2 pages of his bio. Only two? Well, you wrote it. But all I can say is that Bill has been a part of our lives since we moved here in 89. My kids went through his program, and he is such a positive influence. How many of you guys in the band have played in Bill's Nordhoff program, or under Bill's tutelage? So if you were one of the first members of the Ojai Summer Band, Bill was one of the founders of that, and a lot of other things. Go to my Facebook page, I'll put this whole bio on there for you. So, but I want to present you with your award here.
A magnet?
No, he doesn't get a magnet.
I'm gonna make it a magnet. Come back to New Orleans.
So, Mr. Bill Wagner, our Ed Hero of 2017. Now, some of you are scratching your head going, okay, so what's OEF and what's an Ed Hero? So I'd like to ask Sal Rivera to come up real quick and in about 3 minutes tell you everything you need to know about the Ojai Education Foundation and Ed Heroes. Here you go.
I think I can do it quicker than that. Good evening. My name is Salvador Rivera. I am the newest board member of the Ojai Education Foundation. And for those who are not aware, the Ojai Education Foundation began in 1993. Let me read this to make sure I get it all of it. To help enhance the educational experience for the students of the Ojai Unified School District. This last year, OEF donated approximately $60,000 in grants to our teachers and schools. These grants benefited over 2,500 students valley-wide. OEF has funded after-school access to computer labs and provided for music specialists for all of our elementary schools district-wide. These are just a few of the things OEF has been able to do with this community's support. So please visit our website, ojaied.org, for more information about who we are. Now, one of the other things that we seek to do is recognize wonderful teachers, staff, and volunteers throughout the Ojai School District for their outstanding service to public education and the students of this valley. Our biggest recognition is our Educational Hero of the Year Award. The selection is made based on an individual's contribution to education and support of learning. Bill Wagner highlights the best of what our district has to offer, and OFE is grateful for his years of dedication and service to our children.
Well, I'm really honored to accept the award from OEF. They're, one of the foundational groups in Ojai. There's so many that give to our educational system, and our school district here wouldn't be what it is without all of the support from OEF, as well as all of our service organizations and so many other people that continue to support the great programs that we have throughout our school district. Nordhoff High School is doing wonderful things. We just got back. I feel like I'm back in New Orleans. We went to New Orleans a couple years ago and got the bling from down there, Mardi Gras. So anyway, it's great to have the recognition. How many of you have? Let's see. How many of you are New Yorkers? Anybody? New York? Excellent, excellent. I'm not, but I live just over the GW Bridge, so close enough. So yeah, I'm a Jersey boy, but Broadway, the great area of New York, famous of course for Broadway musicals, and we're going to present some of those musicals from the 1990s. 20 some odd years ago. It's hard to believe that's true. These are Broadway musicals from the 1990s. you know the name of the musical the last piece was from? The Lion King. We had the privilege of going to New York with the high school 4 times. 4 times. 3 times we got to play on Carnegie Hall stage. It was very exciting. And we practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And we did. Thank you very much. But we had the wonderful opportunity to go see Lion King on Broadway. Wow! They had real animals coming down the aisle. They weren't real. They looked real coming down the aisles. But boy, what a pleasure to see the caliber of Broadway musicals and to be able to take our students to go see those shows as well. We do a high school musical every year with the high school. I don't know if I should announce it yet. Go ahead. Well, it's a contemporary musical, and before you put your blinders on with this one, I want to tell you it's a great show, and you have to come see it, even though the name of the show is You're in Town. Don't. No, not that. Where did your mind go? It's Y-O-U-R. Oh, no, it's not. It's really the other one. But it's really going to be a great show, and we hope you guys will come out. Anyway, we have so much going on with the high school. It's marching band season next week. How many of you in marching band coming out on Monday? Yeah, come on out. Anyway, we're going to have a great season with that. And then after that, we get into all of our concert stuff. And right after the musical, we're headed off to Hawaii, beautiful Hawaii, with our entire department to go just hang out and do festivals and clinics and performances, playing at the Missouri Battleship, and probably a clinic at the University of Hawaii. We should have a lot of fun. This piece that we're going to play is going to highlight one of my students currently. This is Surati Farkas, and Surati is a fantastic alto saxophone player. I can't say the instrument, but he is. Anyway, Ashokan Farewell, it sounds like a very old piece, and you think it is as soon as we start playing it. It wasn't written that long ago. Famous from the Ken Burns Civil War movie, so I'm sure you'll all recognize it. Actually written for the Ashokan camp in the Ashokan Valley. I'm sure you will enjoy it. This is Surati Farkas on alto saxophone. So 27 years ago, I stood here directing our first band concert. Way back when. It's hard to believe it's gone by like that. But I've begun a recent adventure, if you will, working for a group called Flutes Across the World. And Flutes Across the World is an amazing program. With John Zaretsky at the helm and some very dedicated board members, John does a program where he takes flutes into classrooms in Southern California and has the students decorate 2 flutes. One that they get to keep and one that we will take on a mission. John is headed off on a mission soon, at the end of August, to the Philippines. I'm sure you guys are aware of what's happening in the Philippines right now. John does amazing work getting out into areas that are afflicted by an awful lot of everything. Homelessness and orphanages and schools that really have no resource whatsoever. They're so excited that he's coming, and one of the visits he's going to be doing on this trip is to a refugee camp of the people who are fleeing right now, Marawi, which is unfortunately getting to be an ISIS stronghold. And John's going to be going over and working with these students, and we feel one of the backbones of our organization to let people know around the world that there's good coming from other parts of the world. Connect them somehow. What no better way than through music. Why do I bring it up now? On Friday night, this coming Friday night, over at Topa Topa Mountain Winery, there's a free concert. So if you don't have enough music tonight, come over and hear John and his wonderful group performing some music. Laura Walter will be there too. She's in charge of our elementary music program. My daughter, if you didn't know, was in kindergarten last year over at Miramonte, and Laura was her teacher, and we're so excited that through the music festival and through an awful lot of grants that are coming in OEF and from the Music Festival Bravo program, that we're continuing music for all of our grade level students. So they're getting it every week, which is an amazing thing. Through all the budget cuts and everything else, we can do this. So, 6 p.m., Topa Topa Mountain Winery. Come over and listen to some great music, hear a little more about what John is doing in his adventures with Flutes Across the World. We'd love to see you there. Just right down the road, Topa Topa Mountain Winery. We're going to finish up tonight with a great, this score right here, it's been through an awful lot. And I'm going to venture, we played this piece my first year here, because it's got my sweat and toil on it, but it's there. But great big band classics, Tuxedo Junction, Serenade in Blue, and of course we finish up with In the Mood. Hope you enjoy big band classics.
So I was sitting back there, much rather be playing. Anyway, I was sitting back there trying to decide, okay, so do we do the Eagles? Or do we do John Williams? Tyson has a solo in John Williams. And Tyson's not going to be here next week, so we're going to do John Williams this week, and we'll do Eagles next week. And we just won't stop. I promise no talking next week, just all music. So I have to warn you, at the end of Jaws, hold on to the little kids, because that's where Tyson's solo comes in.
Did you get your raffle tickets? It's the last chance.
Okay. Bob, do we have a bunch of tickets? Yes, yes. Okay, so some lucky person is going to, the first person that I draw is going to get the refrigerator magnet. And the second person is going to get to come up and direct the band. So, for the refrigerator magnet, 481735. 481735. If that's your number, quick, hurry. Here she comes. Oh, that's not you, you're just leaving? Okay. Aha, here we go. And where's the refrigerator mat? There we go. It's all yours. There you go. Hang that on your fridge. Okay, and now for the chance to connect this wonderful, great group. 481707. 707. Check it. Is it? Oh, no. 707.
It's you!
It's me.
Wait, who has a special line of baton out there then?
Okay. You snooze, you lose.
Wait, a special line?
Okay. 481688. 481688. Am I getting closer? Oh, I don't want to do this again.
Nope, over there.
Over there! But wait, you won last week too. You're going to have a refrigerator magnet and a baton. Woohoo! All right. Linda Taylor, our art teacher extraordinaire.
And it's a paper.
I'm an artist. Here we go. You ready? You know how to do this, right?
The paintbrush.